right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another great episode of The Stoop, where we talk hoops, and more hoops. I'm your guy, TJ, man, and we want to shout out everybody who's been rocking with us and supportive of the show thus far. I got to shout out my partner in crime, my co-host, my man with the plan, Kev P. Talk to the people, bro.
As always, pleasure to be here.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Hey, Kev P, listen, we got one of our first persons ever to run it back on The Stoop. He's coming along with our special guest today, but our special guest is an innovator. And when your grandmother used to tell you use your time wisely, he did just that, waiting to get in that gym when he was trying to get his career right back on track. You know, this basketball game is coming to be something really, really global, and the product that he's going to bring forth today is going to take a lot of our guys who like to shoot out there to that very next level. All the way from Houston, University of Houston, H-Town's very own Mr. Thomas Fields, and my man with the plan, Mr. Maurice Elrod, a.k.a. Mo Realla. Fellas, thank y'all so much for coming back onto the stoop and back onto the stoop today. Appreciate y'all.
Sure, man. Great to be here. I'm excited to, I'm like a connector, man. That's kind of like my in my bio somewhere is gonna say, man, this guy was able to connect people, and here I am again, man. I want to be able to connect my man Thomas with you guys, and he has a tremendous story. His story is unlike none that I've ever encountered personally. You know, you always hear it, from whether it's entertainers or rappers or ball players, but this is the first time I've been able to experience it firsthand, and
Right.
just to see, just a young. And like you said, an innovator, young guy, man, that has changed the game forever. The game is forever changed. You know what I'm saying? And like, I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to let my man Thomas, kind of really just take you guys through his story. And you guys, I'm sure you got a bunch of questions, man, but, that's my little quick intro.
Yeah, TJ, Kev, man, I'm happy to be here, man. Thank y'all.
Absolutely, bro. So listen, I had to go ahead and dust that H-Town off for y'all today, man, to get right. The spirit of what we doing out here. So let me get to it. Thomas, listen, your story says this. At 7 years of age, you got introduced to the game, but I want to know who actually put the rock in your hand for the very first time.
Man, my mom, she took me to the YMCA, man, and as soon as she took me to the YMCA, I just fell in love with the game. I was about 7 years old. I was rocking a little fro at the time, man, and I just, man, fell in love with the basketball. I don't know what it was. My dad didn't hoop. He was a musician doing music and producing for guys like Lil Flip and SPM and Swisher House. And I grew up in that that era where repetition and building beats and music was that was our culture, and that's what I grew up in the house with. But I kind of took that idea of repetition and practicing and staying up all night and perfecting the craft, perfecting the beat. But I just kind of took it to basketball, man. So
solid.
That's dope. So we have you on here tonight to talk about this grind shooting machine.
Yeah.
And I know that generally, in order for someone to come up with the solution to a problem, there has to be a degree of inconvenience that they no longer wish to have. So I learned that in high school, you made quite a name for yourself as a player in Houston. You made varsity team as a freshman and competed against guys the likes of Justin Jackson, Kelly Oubre, Justice Winslow. Tell us a little bit about your hoop dreams before becoming an entrepreneur.
Yeah, man, I love this already, man. Getting into the hooping background. Yeah, man. So really fell in love with the game at 7 years old, and just continue to really just perfect my shooting, just like all kids, just loving basketball and staying up all night and hooping, and then ended up going to middle school and playing for the 8th grade team in 6th and 7th grade, just constantly trying to, practice it and play against the, bigger guys and get better. And then whenever I got to high school, I really started taking it serious and kind of came across a coach, Coach Henderson, and he really took that mindset of love and passion and mixed it in with some inspiration and just straight up just like work ethic, just grind, and took that that love and that passion to another level in high school, man. So he took me under his wing, and by about ninth grade, I ended up playing varsity. I made varsity as a freshman, starting. Played against guys like Damian Dotson. Who is
You with
Damian?
the Cavs now.
He with the Cavs. Played against him at Yates, man. So just really out there competing, and my goal was to go D1, go to the NBA. I'm 5'10", I could shoot, but I'm trying to get it.
You wanted to go to Baylor, didn't you?
I wanted to go to Baylor. Absolutely, man. That was my dream goal. Coach Hendo gave us like a paper. What school do you want to go to? And my first school was Baylor, man. And fast forward a little bit, a lot of people don't know this, but one of our first investors is the coach at Baylor. So that was almost like my contract. That was my D1.
Ain't no such thing as a coincidence.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was cool.
So I know that you tore your ACL your sophomore year, and then junior year while attempting to dunk at 5'9", 5'10", that's impressive anyway. You tore the other knee.
I made it though.
so you made the dunk and then tore your other knee.
Yeah, I held on too long, man, and then I came down from my on my left knee, just kind of landed weird, and man, that knee kind of popped and ended up tearing my other ACL, sitting out another full season, which is crucial for a basketball player, especially in that time frame. You know what I'm saying? So,
and especially for it to be both knees. But with that being said, you were driven to get back on the court.
Yeah.
And that same drive is what made you pursue solving this age-old problem that we addressed earlier with, having to rebound and run around getting your own shots. Expound on that a little bit.
Yeah. And I ended up wanting and still pushing to get back on the court. Like I wasn't gonna let this ACL injury stop me from going D1. Like these are really my only options. And I was working out at 5 a.m., doing 2-a-days, 3-a-days, working out, lifting weights, and then getting in the gym. And my goal was 1,000 shots a day. I was trying to catch up and just really
ain't easy.
compete. Nah, not easy at all. And there were some days where I'd pull it off. Most days I'd get 500, 300. But my school had just bought a shooting machine. Coach Henderson got recruited to a bigger college, and we got this new coach in. He bought a shooting machine for the school, $5,000-$6,000, and didn't really understand like the background of like making varsity, tearing my ACL, tearing it again, and needing something like that, and having access to something like that, like a shooting machine that gets you rebounds and you get up 1,000 shots in an hour, right? Man, 5 a.m., coach, I need keys to the gym, can't do it. I'm outside 5 o'clock in the morning and I don't have access to the gym. So it was almost like I was looking through the gym doors and I was like, yo, the machine is like right there. I just don't have access. And even if, first of all, can we buy one? Can I get my own? Right. And the answer was no. Like my people didn't have $5,000-$6,000 to drop on a shooting machine. And then even if we did, where would we put it? It's a 400-pound, 6'6" machine. You know what I'm saying? It's not designed specifically for players. And I just kind of had to live with that problem. Like, yo, you don't have access. Your dad is not a coach, so he can't let you in the gym. And you don't know people who can let you in the gym or buy you, let you use this machine. So you just kind of stuck out, even though you want it that bad, you just don't have the access. And man, that really didn't sit well with me. It really wasn't. I didn't feel like there was an even playing field, So really came up with the concept to first make the shooting machine, redesign it to make it affordable for kids that were from the inner city that wanted it bad, that didn't have $5,000 to drop on a shooting machine, and just make something that was accessible to them first, right? And then I was like thinking about it, and I was like, yo, I can't make this just for like it's not going to be like a Walmart edition. You know what I'm saying? I don't want that. I want something that Nike created. I want, you know, if Nike was to recreate the shooting machine, how would they do it? And I really asked myself that question, and I imagined, you know, I had a Nike bag at the time, and I was like, yo, what if the shooting machine was in my duffel bag? You know, like if I walked to the gym or walked to a park at the time and just folded it out of my bag, you know, how dope would that be? And man, went based off that concept, and um, got to work in the garage.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Crazy, right?
That's really crazy.
So
Crazy.
in all fairness, that leads me to my next question. So since you know the late I would say early 2000s, everybody was using the word grinding when the Clips made it famous with their song Grinding. And shout out to Pusha T and Malice, excuse me. Why did you use the word grind, Thomas? What made your grind to say, you know what, I'm going to not only use the word, but I'm going to actually patent that to make a basketball concept that's going to be innovative?
Beautiful, man. And I love how you brought up music, because that's exactly, you know, what influenced me. Because growing up in a house where my dad was a producer of rap music, you know, at the time, I'm listening to Houston rap, and all they're talking about is putting in work and grinding. You know, no matter what they're doing, whether it's rapping or selling CDs or whatever the case, they were putting in work, grinding, right? And it just was normal to me to put in work. You know, mom was waking up 5 a.m. putting in work when she had to go to work, right? My dad was waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning too, going to work. So I was kind of raised with this mindset of like, yo, you got to put in work to get somewhere in life. If you have a goal, you got to just make it happen. So really, just music influenced it. Just everyday language, listening to Zero and UGK, and just all the rappers coming out of Houston, man. It really influenced me to kind of use that language, because I wanted it to be from athletes. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to
Right.
represent us in a way where we were proud to buy from and support. Right? You know, I didn't want to create something that, you know, wasn't authentic. Right? So I think that's where it kind of came from.
Cool, cool. So let's talk about some business now, man. And the guy who's on this call as well, man, it was a young mogul himself, man. Back when mixtapes was mixtapes, we talking about the basketball era. So let's talk about your relationship with this guy right here, and vice versa. How'd you guys link up, get to know each other on the business side to where we at currently right now in this space having this conversation?
So I want to start real quick because
Because I always start this part of the conversation. So yeah, T, go ahead.
I want to start, man, because when I was hooping, there was this thing called high school hopefuls, and
Okay.
like they would high school hopefuls, they would like go around and film all the best basketball players in Houston. And they got Damian Dotson, they had Kelly Oubre, they had Justice Winslow, Josh Gray. All these dudes went to the NBA. They're all from Houston, and high school hopefuls was going around filming and highlighting. This was like baller's life to me. So I love the platform called High School Hopefuls. Long story short, I start the company. I turn into self-taught mechanical engineer building this machine, and I get introduced and actually get a DM from High School Hopefuls, right? And that turned out to be Maurice Elrod, man. So OG in the game, they kind of hit us up, but I was blowing his messages up. You know, I was recruiting, not knowing I was recruiting, trying to bring on the best of the best in Houston to the grind team, man, because I knew for a fact that I couldn't do this by myself, and I needed people that were better engineers, better marketers, better salesmen than me. Like I had the vision, and I could do the dirty work of making it happen. But to take to the next level and compete with a Nike or Adidas, I needed an amazing team around me, and that's how we kind of met with Mo.
Yeah, man, it was crazy. And it's fun. Like everyone always asks that question, and I usually go first with the answer. So it was funny to kind of hear Tom's perspective first, but it was crazy because when Thomas first started like, I guess the Grind Instagram account, he would always post these like beautiful pictures of basketball courts and all type of colors. And it was just dope. Like all these real places around the world. And some were not beautiful. Some were like, you know, jacked up hardwood floors that's all messed up, but it was still centered around the game. And so at the same time, that was Grind Basketball. Then there was a Thomas Fields account, and Thomas Fields was liking all of my pictures on Instagram, right? Not all of them, but he was liking my pictures. So I, you know, when you see an Instagram account with someone's name and you see it over and over again, you start to tune into it. Fast forward, I got tickets to an Astros game, and one of the guys who worked there, you know, because he gave me tickets, I said, "Hey man, I'll take you to dinner." And we went to dinner. I took my son with me, and we were just talking, just chopping it up about just business, life, etc. And he mentions Thomas, and I'm like, "Wait a minute, Thomas Fields been hitting me up. This the dude that got the grind machine?" Because on the Instagram page, they were never linked. I thought it was separate individuals. So Grind Basketball and Thomas Fields.
He hit it that many times that you remembered the name off the top of your head.
I pay attention to everything. Hey, I play point guard too.
Okay.
So I see it all. I tell my kids it all the time too. They be like, "Yo, Dad, where's my wallet?" I was downstairs, you know, look around the corner, you know, on the table. I see everything. I play PG, man. So anyway, I definitely remembered it. So that night, I hit him up, and I'm like, "Yo, I just met with Nate Thomas, man." I met with Nate, and I was like, "Yo, would love to just, you know, link up and just talk about the product." This is like 2.5 years ago. And maybe like 3 days later, man, we met up at Cane's chicken finger spot out here in H-Town. And the rest was history, man. We've been rocking ever since, man. So I feel, if nothing else, man, I feel so proud of this dude because he started when he was 19 years old. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't doing none of that at 19. I wasn't thinking about it.
I don't know, fam. You was kind of close.
I was close, but not that close. Not something that again is going to change basketball
groundbreaking, yeah.
forever. This is something that, you know, will live forever, man. And so to Thomas's point, you know, having that ability to have the vision and, like he mentioned, being able to galvanize troops that can help bring his vision to fruition. A lot of people don't even have that ability, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, I posted a video of him earlier today, man. Got to get this man his flowers. And this dude is a real special guy, man, through and through. Like, genuine dude, cool guy. We ain't had a shooting contest yet. I'm waiting for that. You know what I mean? I think might up a little wetter, you know what I mean? But that will definitely happen.
Oh man, I don't know about
He
that.
got a grind machine and putting up them shots over a 12-foot net. I don't know if you're ready.
That's crazy.
I don't know, Mo.
That's crazy.
Yeah, man. But but that is the story, man, of how we kind of linked up, man.
Okay.
So.
Like I said before, man, the world is small and there's no such thing as a coincidence. I was supposed to link up.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And I think it was amazing. Just I didn't even know Mo's background prior to trying to reach out to him. You know, it was really just I looked up to high school hopefuls as a kid, and I knew, like, yo, I need whoever's behind high school hopefuls. I didn't even know it was Mo. I was just blowing up high school hopeful stuff, you know. And
That's
man,
great.
you know, I think it is definitely you know, all supposed to happen when it should.
So let's continue to talk about business. And the game of basketball is $1 billion business. Let's be clear. Basketball generates revenue. I don't care where you at, from grade school to the Hall of Fame. So many people right now, man, are really capitalizing on the game as they should, whether it's trainers, whether it's shooting instructors, whether it's agility cats in the weight room, no matter what it is. My question to you, Thomas and Mo Realla, you feel free to jump on this too. What's going to separate the grind machine from anything else that's going on right there to take any aspiring, especially jump shooter, to the next level with so many different products convoluting the industry now, man? What makes y'all unique?
You know, one of the biggest things that I always really even noticing from a middle school kid was you know, having the best equipment accessible to you, right? And I always hated the fact that like we came from a low income kind of neighborhood, and all the products that we had kind of reflected that. I never liked that. I didn't think that was right. I didn't think that was like fair. You know what I'm saying? That a school in a better neighborhood got better equipment, right? And that's just how it is, right? But you know, to me, man, I always really wanted to knock down that barrier and provide accessible equipment that didn't sacrifice quality, that didn't sacrifice um, you know, anything but the best, and allowing kids to bring out that greatness no matter, you know, what their income level was. That was really big for me, man. So when I started the company, the sole kind of the core is making our products affordable but never sacrificing quality, right? Like we're really trying to be the Apple and Nike of sports equipment world. This is a $33 billion industry, right? And you know, yeah, we can come out with, you know, cheaper stuff and try to make it you know, just low quality type of stuff and make it affordable, make money, make a lot more money off of it. But to me, man, it's really about giving athletes what they really deserve, you know, in the truest sense, to where they dedicate their whole lives to this game and trying to make it out their situations. So, you know, let's dedicate our lives to creating products that can help them, you know, get there and not sacrificing quality. So I think that's a huge differentiator just in general with the idea of grind, not just the shooting machine, but the shooting machine, you know, that value is completely different, right? We're finally affordable for everybody. And then we're portable, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't think our competitors and other shooting machines out there really considered how athletes, you know, the needs of the athletes, you know what I'm saying? So we really take that really seriously whenever we're creating products. Like what do athletes really need?
Yeah, and that's like just to kind of add a little more to what Thomas mentioned. You know, you're talking about a product that our competitors probably didn't even think about, you know, creating. They were constantly creating the same design that they always had, and never thinking like, okay, well, you know, what would it be like if you could take this product to the park, to the gym, to the driveway, fold it into a duffel bag, and like I always tell this story, and it's just for me, it's just one of those stories that visually, once you see the machine in person. So if you're looking at Thomas now, that's Thomas in the background picture right there, and that's the machine. So if you see the machine in its collapsed form, and then you see it go into that, you for the very first time you're gonna be bugged out because you've never seen that before. You know what I'm saying? And like he said, man, making it affordable for families. You know, we have multi payment options. You know, because like Thomas mentioned earlier, man, my mama couldn't drop 4 or 5 grand. I grew up in a third floor apartment. Where the hell we gonna store that thing at? You know what I'm saying? Like, so it was no way that I could even afford it, nor store it, or anything like that. And so again, solving that problem of being able to, you know, take it wherever, you know what I'm saying? And then now you can afford it. It's not 6,000, not 6 stacks. It's $1,500, and you have these multi-payment options. You know what I'm saying?
And
That
I think that
again allows you. Go ahead, T.
now I was just gonna say like the value of, you know, having to shoot and then go chase your rebounds down was really the problem that
Yeah.
we're killing, right? Because it's so
Wasting a lot of
inefficient.
time.
You know, you'll be out there for 7 6 7 hours trying to get up 1,000 shots, and people do it. You know what I'm saying? Because we're that dedicated to it. But if you had a machine that cuts that down by 10, you know, and you could get up,
Yeah.
you know, 600 to 1,000 shots within an hour, You know, that's a extremely huge game changer, and I think will revolutionize the skill development in the game drastically. You know, it's not a like a widget. You know, it's not a gadget. This is actually something that will kind of change the game and how players improve drastically. Uh, you know, going into basketball in the future. So I think that the value of getting your rebounds and automatically throwing it back out to you at any spot and improving your efficiency, you know, by 10 is a huge game changer.
And then also too, just adding on with the machine itself. So you see the net is 12 feet, right? So it forces you to get the proper arc on your shot. You know what I'm saying? So many kids shoot line drive shots, right? So this is gonna, as Thomas has mentioned, it's efficient. It's gonna help you improve your jump shot. You get more shots up. So all of those things, go into developing you as a better shooter. Because I mean, let's be honest, man. If you can't shoot, especially in today's game,
Yeah,
you really ain't worth it. You ain't worth nothing. You know what I mean? So, got to be shooting is a premium in the NBA, high school, college. You got guys that are just making 20 million a year just 'cause they can sit in the corner and hit a three.
yeah, nice.
So
So I want to address something because Mo made a very good point earlier, talking about until you see it firsthand and watching this thing come from its collapsed form to blossoming open and being able to, what you have behind you. The question that I have is, how does a young man attending U of H for a business degree wind up essentially morphing into a mechanical engineer?
Yeah, it's a great question, man. Really by necessity. You know, I didn't. My dad wasn't an engineer, so shit, I had to become one and figure it out. You know, it was really just like a need that I needed. Nobody around me, you know, but my homeboy Zay knew how to weld. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, okay, Zay knows how to weld. The machine's made of metal. Okay, let's. I got a garage, so there's a metal shop down the street on Jensen. So let's just, put all these things together and I'll lead it, and it's something that I wanted. And there was a lot of times, man, where I was in the garage listening to my music and I'd just stop and just be like, man, what if nobody wants this? What if nobody wants to buy this? And I just sit and I'd be like, well, shit, if nobody wants it, I want it. You know what I'm saying? So I just kept on going. So it was really out of necessity of wanting it myself and just having faith that there was millions of other athletes and kids around the world that would want something just like it. If I morphed the brand and spoke a certain language, they would resonate with it, and it would be much bigger than just this product, right? So I started in business, thankfully, because my dad was business minded. Kind of put me on that path of figuring out business and real estate and stuff like that. So I started in that. But as I went on, man, I fell into this product and kind of committed to this idea. uh, I actually started right out of high school doing real estate, and soon realized that it didn't feel right within myself. I don't know. I wanted to be around basketball and I wanted to be doing something for the basketball world, and this idea was it. So I didn't know if it was going to work or not, but I knew if I made some sort of product that or prototype that worked or a machine that worked, maybe it could go somewhere. And I started reading a lot of business books, um, and from prototyping to reading and educating myself on creating a business and stuff like that. I knew I needed engineers, so I got the process started. I built prototypes to kind of show the viability of like, yo, this is for real. I'm really doing this. A lot of people didn't believe that, shooting machine could fit in a duffel bag. So I like had to get the concept across. So I had to weld a box that was as big as a duffel bag and start putting shit all over the place and like figure out where to put the net and just start sketching it out and putting it together. And it took 3 years, but people started believing in it, and they were like, okay, this kid is serious. And I was able to bring on some interns from U of H, mechanical engineers, and give them some experience, and they gave me some work. And it was a two-way street, and it worked for us. And I looked up, I had 9 engineers working with us, and then they took it and they made it themselves, like they made it into something that they were proud of. I gave them the flexibility to do what they wanted to a certain extent, right? And that's kind of how it evolved, right? And more I got pushed back out of the engineering and more into the branding and all that stuff, which I liked. And fell across some engineers that were with me for the long haul, and they took it and ran with it. So by no means did I fully design it, but I definitely got the process started and designed the first versions, um, and just again brought on a whole bunch of smart people that believed in it, and we got it done. So it's definitely a process of just flexibility and learning, man. So it's pretty interesting.
And that's what's so unique about, Thomas and the story and the product is that, like you mentioned, it is a process. And like I said, I've been around for like 2.5 years, and I've seen, different, versions of the machine. And, going in, like, day one, I'm thinking, oh, we can just go ahead and get this thing out in no time. And then you start to learn more and more and more about the process of it. Like, nah, hardware is not an easy thing to do.
Oh.
You gotta, there's a lot that goes into it. And so I've learned a lot just by asking questions, because like I'm not an engineer, but I'll always, when engineers are meeting, I'll sit in there sometimes and I'll just ask them questions about what that do, what's that called. And you're just kind of learning so much about their language and how they put it all together. And, I think there's a lot, what I'm saying, when it comes to Thomas and an ability to put a team together and then trust other people to help and bring the idea together. And then you got to have a lot of patience, man. Like you got to have a lot of patience because the process is very, very long. Thomas, please tell these gentlemen how many times you pitched the product to investors.
Man, over 400 times. I mean, I
Wow.
pitched investors over 400 times. I mean,
Perseverance.
just looking at the machine, we've made over 300 changes to it. You know what I'm saying? I'm from the tips of the net to the damn bolt.
What net to use, the weight of the net, what kind of bolt you use it's a lot that goes into it. It's not just.
I'm happy you kind of touched on that, because that's kind of where I wanted to go next. In order for your shooting machine to work as you intend, it must not only be portable, but it's got to be lightweight. It's also got to be durable. What are some of the materials that are used to help facilitate that need to be somewhat lightweight? I mean, it's going to have some weight to it because you have to have some metal, but it's certainly not the 500-600 pounds that you had pushing around the gym.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And that was a big thing that I kind of put on those engineers, were these certain constraints that, it can't be heavier than this and it can't be bigger than this, because this is the idea. And it also can't cost more than this, because we got to sell it for a certain price. So it's real easy to like build something with no constraints, but going into it with these constraints, I think morphed it into this kind of product, right? And and it helped us make those decisions of using thin aluminum poles that were, and splitting them into 5 different sets so they're extra strong. You know what I'm saying? And using a nylon glass filled arm, that was light enough to coincide with the entire product, but also be strong enough to withstand, I don't know how many pounds of force. I mean, 50 pounds of force every time it passes the ball. So it's really interesting to see how, we had to balance, obviously, like fiberglass, and that was a really big thing. I'm going blank on the
Carbon
material.
fiber.
Carbon fiber was a huge thing on my list, because I was like, okay, it's lightweight and it's strong. but the cost is skyrocket, right? So if we use a carbon fiber pole, it was going to cost us $200 each pole. It's kind of out of the question, right? Because our whole identity is around being affordable, right? So we had to find out very, very unique, different ways to cut costs and also get the strength and the durability down. And I think we did a great job at kind of balancing all these three things. So,
This question I got for both of y'all, Mo and Thomas. You guys officially launched in March. Unfortunately, so did COVID. On one hand, you're not able to go out and demonstrate some of these things that sometimes people need to see firsthand, just as Mo said, to just watch it unfold is one thing. But on the other hand, the pandemic closing gyms down and things of that nature and social distancing, it kind of forces people to open up to something like this as a possibility so they can get their shots up now. So how has the pandemic in one hand kind of worked for you and kind of worked against you?
Oh, you want to take it? Yeah.
So even going a little bit before March 1st, right? So we were contemplating, do we do a Kickstarter campaign? Do we launch the product, on our site to drive obviously traffic just to us, right? And so obviously with Kickstarter, there's so many, rules and regulations, right? If you set your goal to X and you don't achieve it, then you don't get anything, right? So we had all these, we whiteboard and everything, like what should we do? And Tom was like, you know what, we should just drive traffic to our website, no Kickstarter. And we were all like, all right, cool, let's go that route.
Yeah, we really wanted to kind of control our fate in terms of how we were moving, because we had a unique market. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of Kickstarter markets that you see are very tech driven, techie focused. Mm-hmm. So you got a lot of people that are just early adopters just because it's tech or, the newest gadget. You know what I'm saying? We had something that was new to this market, but our market, we realized just talking to Mo, being in basketball for over 20 years, like our market primarily is not on Kickstarter. Like they're probably in the gym, they're probably at tournaments, they're probably putting in work, and we got to go to, you know what I'm saying? We can't just be blinded by this tech. We want to be this startup type of company. And I was very conscious of that, just trying to be honest as possible with myself and not get trapped into this I know it all type of mindset. I'm always like paranoid that I'm gonna get into that mindset. So I'm always kind of throwing ideas off of Mo and throwing ideas off of everybody else, man. So I think that decision kind of guided that. Just Mo's background of being in basketball is like, yo, our people ain't on Kickstarter. I wouldn't know about Kickstarter unless if I didn't start a company. You put it that way, you know what I'm saying? So that was really the driver to kind of focus, put all the pre-orders on our website and take control of it, and then just Mo go to all the events. You want to talk about that?
Man. And so we shot. So we're actually in LA with the professor. He shot an influencer campaign video for us. And we in LA March 1st, like literally March 1st, we in LA. Thomas and Emery came out, and
events lined up.
We ready
week after week.
Yeah,
after
we
week,
ready
like,
to go. Right.
March was full of like
it was March Madness.
March Madness. We had McDonald's All-American game that we were headed to. I mean, Vipe had 3 tournaments that had like all-star high school players in them. That
we were in conversations with the EYBL. You know what I'm saying?
And we had it all lined up.
So we had everything lined up, and it was dope because I never forget. Meeting Thomas at the gym, meeting Professor on March 1st, and Thomas like, yo, we got like, I think it was like 3 or 4 sales like that morning. So like it was already a go. And we feeling good. We shoot the content with Fest, with Professor. That was really, really solid. And like 2 weeks later, like the world shut down. And but honestly, man, truth be told, we had some really good marketing like already on deck, right? So we already had shot several content pieces, you know, with Thomas, with high school players, Bryce Griggs, who's top 50 in his class, LJ Carrier, who, you know, he was a top 100 in the country, now at Baylor. We had a commercial that we had created, you know, with Bubs. We had a lot of already like stuff. We were ready to launch and push stuff out there. We even created a Kickstarter video that we used in certain elements and certain pieces for the campaign.
And just took the word Kickstarter out.
Yeah. But for that perspective, we were in go mode. So even with the pandemic, the one thing about the pandemic that was a blessing, I think, for everybody, that it made everybody just sit their ass down for a while and just chill. And now this content that we're able to push and pump out, you're able to really like take it in because you're not really on a go ripping and running. You can actually see it. And again, because the product is so different, it just forces your hand and go to our website and just at least see what it's about. And I'm sure it affected us because it would have been best to be able to go to those events. But honestly, man, we was good.
Yeah, the first day of March, we had over $20,000 in sales, and that was before Kickstarter. Before the COVID launch. So 2 weeks after that, we went into COVID mode, and as soon as the rodeo canceled, that's when we was like, oh man.
Yeah, the Houston rodeo, a big deal.
The Houston rodeo, man. As soon as that canceled and the NBA canceled, we were just like, we were knee deep in it already. So we just
turning back.
Yeah, we just literally pivoted mid-air our whole marketing strategy during this whole COVID situation and took it digital. You know, hit it hard on content and storytelling. We're very big on telling compelling stories about athletes that we really care about. So, you know, just hit it hard on the content and the storytelling aspects and really focused on tuning up digital ads and our digital strategy.
That's amazing, man. That's amazing. So we talking business still, but y'all on the stoop. So on the stoop, Mo Realla, you understand how this is about to go for your boys. So check this out. My grandmama and them, my peoples, got a grandson or got a kid who has hoop dreams, but we from the hood. Mo Realla, you talked about your upbringing, where you came from, and you talk about the price point of materials that are, you know, essential to make sure the machine goes, Thomas. But let's be real, man. A lot of folks ain't got 1,500 even still. So how do you invoke that principle? How do you share with you? Because like I said, I don't know about everybody else. I know where Kev's been from because I've been to his house growing up. But me, I didn't have a silver spoon. Matter of fact, my spoon was wooden and it had a hole in that. So how does a cat really, really go ahead and get this machine and sees the results? Because, you know, time is everything and time is money. And I want you to share out here. And man, it's your time now to share a little bit of why it's still essential, even at that price point, bro.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I'm glad you brought that up because I think making, you know, we were the first company to come out with payment plans, believe it or not. Like that just didn't happen. Like you couldn't even buy a shooting machine online, right? So just those facts were like mind-boggling to me. First, let's make people or allow people to order online. Like that made no sense, right? So first, making it accessible and purchasable, and then bringing down the cost. You know, a third, fourth, fifth of the cost, right? And bringing it down as low as we possibly can, but also to still stay in business to where we can create other products that are maybe more affordable, right? And in a better price range for the masses that couldn't afford it, right? So it's definitely a process. Believe me, I am all for bringing our price down and creating a even more affordable machine. But you know, we got to start somewhere, and we got to be profitable, and we got to, you know, we got to survive to even get there and provide those that deeper value that we want to. But you know, obviously, my goal is to make it accessible to everybody, and we might not be able to do that, you know, right out the gate. But I definitely feel like our audience and our customers feel the urge of us trying to get there. You know, they feel the passion and the will of us making this shit happen, and and our goal of creating more affordable products and even more affordable shooting machine.
Let me ask this real quick for the both of y'all.
Yep.
In y'all contacts, real quick, Mo Realla, I think you got something. But hold on, let me ask this to the both of y'all. Who has shocked y'all? Who has surprised y'all that's been an interactive person with y'all or interactive player? Somebody y'all wouldn't in a million years think that, yo, they interested in what we got going on, either to purchase or be a part of what y'all got, the movement. Talk about it.
So the I think the craziest one was Gilbert Arenas.
Agent Zero,
Agent Zero.
Yeah,
Shout out Agent
Hibachi.
Zero.
He
no
bought
kill
he
Gil,
bought he
no
was like
kill
one of
Gil,
the
man.
first.
Oh, you know the hibachi was going by when he's still at the
Yeah.
kid trying to look it up. So what's
Yeah,
up?
he was one of the first ones to make a purchase. Um, he might have been like one of the first 50
Oh,
to
wow.
make a purchase. So that was impressive, and that just lets you know, like, yo, people see it. You know what I'm saying? People see the movement. People see what's going on. People are tuned in. So I would say Gil definitely was a surprise. But I do want to just go back real quick and add to
Go
that
ahead.
question, man.
Go ahead.
You know, when I went to D3 school, you know what I'm saying? I went to Oberlin College in Ohio. Man, tuition at the time might have been, I don't know, like 25, 30,000, right? Something ridiculous. And that was I finished school in 2002, right? So I'm going somewhere with this storyline. So fast forward, you know, almost 20 years later, you know, schools are still 30, 35,000 a year. You know, if you're in state, might be 15,000, 20,000, whatever, right?
Right.
I say all that to say that, you know, if you're a young person and you have a love for basketball, you're not going to be it's not going to be too many casual basketball players that will buy this product. It's not a casual product. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like buying studio equipment. You're not buying studio equipment if you ain't trying to really rap. You know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't playing around. So if you are a serious basketball player and you trying to, you know, go to the highest level or go play in college, $1,500 is an investment in that. You know what I'm saying? So you're investing in your future. So, you know, you look at it like, oh, it's 1,500. I may not be able to afford it, but can you afford 30,000 a year for school?
Right.
Right. So you look at it like that, like, okay, I can go ahead and invest. And again, like I said before, we have multi-payment options, right? So, you know, you put some down and you pay monthly and you pay it off and you good.
You know,
That's a blessing, you know what I'm saying? Because everybody can't afford. I know I couldn't afford to just drop 1,500, or my mom couldn't do that when I was a kid. So the beauty of that is it does provide you some form of flexibility. But again, most importantly, it is an investment for your child. And if you're a trainer, it's an investment, right? Because now you can train more kids. You ain't got to go chase rebounds. You can now train, you know, 15 kids instead of 5 per hour and get shots up. Now you're making more revenue because now you're able to do more, right? So it's you got to think about it in those type of fashions. Go ahead, T.
yeah, absolutely. And I think just touching on that, man, is you know, there was a kid that reached out to me and is like, yo, I'm cutting yards to do this, you know, save up to get a shooting machine. And it's like, yo, my people don't have no money, but I need this machine. It was a need, right? So I was like, I took it upon myself as CEO to like create a specific plan for this kid, right? So we are definitely not that, you know, corporate company that is like, yo, $1,500 you locked in and you gotta pay within 6
Right.
months, right? You gotta drop 300 over $300 per month, right? We definitely have to have some sort of structure, but there's definitely situations where we definitely work with our people and definitely work with our customers to make sure that it's a healthy growth opportunity for them and a healthy investment for them, and they get to
Yeah, and that's
get to the
and
level.
it's crazy because I had a customer call me like a week ago, and she was asking for just shipping updates and stuff like that. And she told me, I couldn't believe this. See, I didn't even tell you this. Yo, she told me her son made a PowerPoint presentation to the family for them to buy the machine.
Wow.
Wait,
That's what
money in
I
the
said.
living room on some corporate. So listen, he set up
That's
a
what I said.
PowerPoint in the living room.
My man put together a PowerPoint presentation for mom and dad to buy the machine. And I'm just like, yo, that's crazy to me. So
No.
to hear about the kid that's cutting grass to get the
Wow.
machine, again, you talking about people that really, really want it. If you really, really want it, you're gonna go out there and you're gonna get it.
Hold on for a
TJ,
second.
see,
Hold
TJ.
on for a second. Hey, listen. I got these two drug dealers out here. They turning kids into fiends. They got these kids doing whatever it takes to get a basketball machine. I'm like, yo, what are y'all doing? This kid is really doing a PowerPoint. Another kid cutting grass. Yo, kudos to y'all, man. All jokes aside, that's real. That's
I
love.
That's a
could
movie.
not believe that.
That's love.
Exactly. That means that you feel, whatever emotion was evoked, right? Whether it was a video that you saw that we put out, whether it
Right.
was, a podcast they heard, whether it was a picture that Thomas posted of himself, like whatever they saw that drove them to the brand. And Thomas mentioned it earlier about storytelling. You know what I'm saying? We kind of like, we kind of model our advertising off of like what Nike would do. You know what I'm saying? Nike tell the best stories in the world
You ain't lying.
without really selling you a product. You know what I'm saying? They'll show you everything in 29 seconds, and then in 1 second, they'll show you the shoe, and you hooked. You know what I'm saying? And so
Absolutely.
we kind of took that format, man, that formula, and put it together. But it blew my mind. I couldn't even believe it, man. I was like, this kid did a PowerPoint. That's kid cutting grass. Like, I don't know, man. It's crazy.
Well,
That's crazy.
real quick, it's clear the influence that you guys are having on the youth and them going through these long ways of making sure that they get this product. But at the same time, I'm thinking about your story and you basically becoming a mechanical engineer to make this happen in the drive. Is this something that you guys are doing also to feed back to the community to help some other kid who may have some similar visions and kind of help them along the way, just as you did?
I couldn't express how strong of a mission that is for Grind right now, man. Like I really can't put it into words. To have a dad put me on the right path and put me straight in terms of getting in trouble or hanging with the wrong dudes that got swallowed up by weed or whatever it was, to really get me on the right track. A lot of my homeboys didn't have that, right? And I know that that's the case in our communities of just Black and Hispanic and Latin American. Just in our communities, that's not the case. It just is what it is. Our history, the just everything in general is just not very fair, man. But I see this real opportunity to almost be that through Grind to millions of kids. Is really interesting to think about. If Nike were to take on that role in a super authentic and serious way, how much impact they would make. And it kind of bothers me that they don't. You know what I'm saying? But if you think about it, the founder is from Portland, Oregon. You know what I'm saying? Who came from a decent family, went to Stanford University, and did his thing. And that's cool. But capitalizing on our culture and our community without pouring absolutely everything you can back into it, just kind of bothers me, man. So it really inspires me to kind of it's such of a bother that like I hate talking about it when we're not fully capable of doing the absolute most yet. But man, like believe me, when we have the ability to go and do it, we're gonna definitely hit it hard and hit it right. You know what I'm saying? And design it purposefully. You know what I'm saying? Design it in a specific way where it can't go away. It has to work. You know what I'm saying? So that's really important, man.
I actually just I think it was 2 days ago, man, I tweeted, when you make it to the top, be sure to send the elevator back down to help someone else. You know what I'm saying? And so that's super important, I think, for everybody. You know what I'm saying? You should definitely find yourself in a position, to lend a helping hand.
You know, that's funny because right now we're not taking an elevator. An elevator don't exist for us right now. So we have to like go up the stairs and also build the elevator. That way they don't gotta use the stairs no more. And we can send the elevator back down.
On the bright side, you can at least carry the grind with you. You ain't gotta worry about it.
There you go, man.
Lightweight.
And really, I'm so like dead set on grind as much more than a shooting machine. I want to create a process, like literally an elevator company that is just multiplies this whole thing, you know what I'm saying? And really changes the trajectory of our growth as a community, man. So just introducing kids into STEM and technology and engineering and design, I think is going to be really important.
Because that's the thing too, man. The beauty of it is that, we all had hoop dreams, and they all, fall apart however they do. And I don't know this to be true, but I would just imagine, right? If Thomas didn't tear ACL 1, didn't tear ACL 2, and he went to Baylor, the likelihood of us having this product is very, very slim, because now you're on the path of being a player. You know what I'm saying? And far too often in our communities, that's all we ever think about being. It's unfortunate, but that's just the reality of it. We don't think about, tech, or being an agent, or being a sports doctor, or orthopedic surgeon. You're still around the game. We just want to be a player initially, right? And so I think that for a young kid to meet Thomas and hear his story and how he put this together, and he's, what, you're 25, 26 years old now? 25 at 25. If an 18-year-old kid heard him talking about this, talking about inspiration, you know what I'm saying? Because you don't really see guys 25 doing it. And remember, he said he started when he was in high school. So that 5-6 years of 7 years of putting it together, you don't really see that, So most 25-year-olds are probably just working in corporate America, they're trying to find their way. And so to hear from somebody that's damn near a peer, my son just turned 20. So, that's 5 years, his senior, right? Trey's inspired by Thomas's story. He tell me all the time, like, yo, that dude is crazy. Like, I don't know how he put that thing. So it's like, it's one of those things, you expect somebody to be 40, 45, 50 to tell that story. And one thing's important about basketball, I'm a talker, y'all already know that. But one thing's important about basketball, man, especially when you're talking to kids, is relatability. If you can relate to the kid, you know what I'm saying, you got them. So I've always been able to relate, whether it was music, whether it was fashion, whatever it was, whether it was, or just talking shit to them. Like, you got to be able to relate. And once you got that, then you have people who want to cut grass and do a PowerPoint presentation because they feel like it's a product for them. And one thing that we haven't had in a long time, like, is a product that felt like it was for you. I remember growing up with Champion, obviously with Nike, you always felt like that was like your brand. You know what I'm saying? You don't really have those too many opportunities, nowadays.
Right. Well, listen, Mr. Maurice Elrod, of course, Mr. Thomas Field, we want to thank y'all so very much for being on the Stoop today, man. Y'all dropped a lot of gems, man. It is inspiration just to hear your story of innovation, Thomas, man. It's uncomparable, bro, to a lot of things that are out there, man. So we wish you well, and we want to keep it pushing. But I do want to ask you, man, Thomas as CEO and creator of this machine. One final question for tonight. 2020 has been interesting for a lot of different people, but if we can go ahead and fast forward, where do you see yourself and the grind team sitting a year from now in December 2021?
Man, I think a lot of places, man. But if I could sum it up real quick, I think definitely just one step closer to obtaining that mission of bringing these kids to realize if they don't make it with basketball, they can definitely do something else. So one step closer there, but also, man, just putting out super dope content and grown into a multi-million-dollar business and company, from our people. So, really just, I think it's a long haul, man. I see the growth coming on for many years. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, my mind is set on 5 years. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to change the world 5 years from now, and I think if we do that one step at a time, we'll definitely get there.
Wonderful,
I would,
gentlemen.
I would be remiss if Thomas didn't explain to y'all the N in the grind logo.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that because
Man,
it's kind of missing. So I was intrigued by that myself.
that
Yeah.
that end is going, man. That end putting in work behind the scenes. It really kind of depicts the idea of the work that nobody sees really separates the good from the great. So whenever you're putting in work, when nobody is looking, that's when you're really growing and turning into something. You know what I'm saying? So that end is gone behind the scenes. He putting in work while we talking, man. So that's the idea behind it.
Got you.
Well done.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Well, listen, man, we want to thank you both for coming on the Stoop, pulling up, man, having a seat with us and talking. It was a great conversation. And to you both, man, we wish you all the very best, man. Happy holidays to you both, man. We wish all the best for Grind, and the future of it looks bright, man, with you two at the helm and leading it to prominence, man. To my partner, Kev Pete, it's been another great episode of the Stoop. We'll see y'all soon. Take care.